some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, doo-dah, day.
Hi there, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. With me tonight, got Joe Bachman, we got Richie, we got Aunt Donna, and that Joshua fellow in Stupid O'Clock turned out to be a disappointment at the last minute.
Uh-oh.
I thought he had some possibilities, but
Well, it started
no.
getting creepy with the window shit. So
Yeah. And definitely you do not attack Dawn in my presence. Um,
hell, you
I
don't
get
attack any of us
overprotective
for one or the other.
about my friends. Um, hello, Thesis. Um, and you should have a link to join us if you want to, Thesis. Yeah, Stupid O'Clock was a good show tonight. It was even further off the rails than usual, which I thought was a fine selling point. Oh, I'm enjoying the room being cool. Thank you. Um, Lindsay worries about the electric bill, so between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. we do not run the washing machine, the dryer, or the air conditioners. And we are in Georgia, so between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m., it gets just a little bit warm in the house. Thankfully, this place is better insulated than I ever thought it was, considering I didn't put any of the insulation in. It's usually this last couple of weeks it's been just under 100 degrees outside and around 85 to 88 degrees inside the house most of the day from morning till afternoon. But then late afternoon, The southern sun comes streaking in through the windows and warms up the roof, and the attic throws heat down through the ceiling. Which is great in the wintertime, but in the summertime it really sucks. Um, we were supposed to get some rain today. Well, we were supposed to get some rain yesterday, and we didn't get any rain either. So, uh,
Still
watch
on
the
back.
storm clouds just go right overhead. Not a drop of rain. My yard is turning into the Sahara Desert. All my flowers are dying. All Lindsay's flowers are dying. Um, we're under a watering ban and a no car wash ban in this county because we've not had any rain for at least a month, going on 6 weeks actually. So we're kind of hoping the heavens will open up and pour down their mercy upon us. And Donna, you seem to be muted.
Okay, is that better?
There you
Yes.
are.
The Witzman dude would be very happy if we had a drought and the lawn turned brown and he wouldn't have to mow. If we had the money, that would either be cemented over or astroturf, which I have no problem with. To tell you the truth, I don't care anymore.
I have threatened to pay for about 15 truckloads of concrete. Just come out and cement the entire yard except for the shrubbery and the trees, and I will buy spray paint and walk around for 2 or 3 days painting it till it looks green.
my my father had been known for doing that with real grass.
Spray painting it so it looks green.
Yeah, but these city folks cut their lawns so short.
Well, it's not just city folks. There was one fellow that lived. He's since passed away. We found out after a few years that he uh, he wound up suffering from Alzheimer's. So he mowed the yard every day,
Hmm.
and he had the mower set as low as it would go. So it looked like his yard was nothing but dirt with a few tufts of golf course grass growing up here and there. But evidently it made him happy. So he was out there every day mowing the yard. Come rain, come shine, summer, winter, all year round. Uh, One of the main things that clued us in that he had passed was
Grass growing.
the lawn came back. Yeah. Uh, Now, one thing I've noticed from the last time I went to Mom's was that the field in between the family home and the road, which is like a quarter mile long, and well, it's basically about 8 acres of ground in one field. It's growing up in trees again, and Daddy would not have tolerated that. I mean, even when he was in the worst throes of Alzheimer's, the only thing that he would leave would be blackberry briars because he loved to wander on out into the field and pick blackberries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
one.
that's one thing I miss moving into the cities, not having any berry bushes.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few in the backyard back here, but they got a nasty habit of leaning over the little rock wall that I built to delineate the property line between me and my neighbor. And then I'm going by on a riding lawnmower and getting my skin ripped off. Uh, At least Lindsay can walk out there and safely pick blackberries after I've mowed. But uh, my even my palm tree is looking desiccated.
Ooh.
I've got one of the few palm trees north of Florida, and it's turning brown. Uh, Lindsay's very popular on Palm Sunday at church because she can take an actual palm frond to church. You go, hey, my husband's a thief. He stole this from Florida and planted it in our yard.
Sounds so bad when you say it that way.
That's it, though.
Well, I I went to Florida to visit my second wife when we were separated, and I had nothing to do a couple of days. I walked out in the woods and I dug up a bunch of little bitty palm tree sprouts, brought them back and planted them around the yard up here. And
Hey, Don.
hey,
Don.
Don, yeah,
Hey, Don.
hey, if you can relocate to the other room and then let Ted get some sleep, you're welcome to come in the show. But yeah, I wound up with one of the few viable palm trees in northeast Georgia. I thought it would be too wet for it, but no, it turns out we're turning into the Sahara Desert. Oh, you're going to bed yourself? Okay, well, sleep well.
Oh.
And yes, I am
Or
not
whatever
mad about
activities
you
you're
getting a
using here.
haircut.
Sorry, I'm not bored, just still tired.
Hey, you wore yourself out at the family reunion. What was it you said, Richie? I'm sorry, I was talking over you at the time.
Oh, yeah. You were saying something about, sleep well for Dawn, or because she was deciding to go to bed. I said, or whatever you decide to do in there.
Yeah, she didn't say she was going to sleep, just heading to bed.
That's above my pay grade.
Hey, I'm just saying, Ted might have really liked the haircut.
Hey? He better. Because lots of other men do. And some of them are very sweet talkers. Of course, none of us here, because the men in this chat right now are not single. And
Don't have to be single to be a sweet talker.
well, to follow through with gusto, it kind of helps.
Sometimes all a woman wants is a sweet talk.
How the hell does Bulldog get by then?
Yeah, Joe?
I was gonna say I gave up using my silver, little silver tongue ages ago. I know I ain't gonna do better than what I got now.
Well,
okay,
there you go. You clarified it. I'll agree with that. Trey is absolutely amazing.
Yes, she is. The Witzman dude still's got a pretty good silver tongue.
I'm not touching that line, dear.
Joe started it. No, today was...
Yeah, I replaced the silver with the gold for that. But anyway.
Today was the 89th Baker reunion. They started in 1939.
Oh, wow.
On a farm outside a little town called Catlin, not too far from here. Suspended during World War II, of course. and then started back up, and has there's been one every year since then. And none of my father's family is going to be watching this, so I can say this clearly: all of the assholes have died off, so it's an even better reunion than it has been. But yeah, my cousin who runs it lined us up according to age today, and I am the sixth oldest now.
Well, there was a time when you thought you were the onlyest, wasn't there, before you found your biological family?
Oh, this is my
Oh,
this is
this
my
is your
top.
dad. Okay,
This is my dad's family.
okay. Yeah, sorry, my
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah. All the ones that agreed with his parents, WC and Pearl, that those not of the body and not of the blood are really not part of the family. They're all gone now, so there's not any drama anymore when at the reunion. It's just a lot of a fun time, and yeah, there's only one asshole left, and he lives over on the East Coast, and his health does not let him travel to Illinois anymore, and I am very glad of that.
And he is sorely missed.
Yeah.
Mm,
His daughter's the one that's running the reunion now,
okay.
and she called him and then took him around to every person to chat with for a moment, and I always managed to be on the other side. There's a couple of incidents between he and I when I was too young for him for things, and that's between me and him. That's not between me and his children. They don't know. They don't need to know. Nobody. But I'm not going to talk to him. But it's funny though, because my father's parents were, like I said, if you weren't of the body and of the blood, you weren't of the family. The last, until Annette took it back over, the last 45 years of the reunion has been organized and run by a non-blood Baker relation. One of my,
What a what a disappointment to the traditionalists.
yeah,
Um, I do wish my mother would accept my stepchildren as being my kids. Um, I love the woman with all my heart, but Mom, you raised me better than that. What changed?
mm,
I don't understand. I really don't understand.
I don't know.
I've got all the traditional family values that I was raised with by almost 7 generations. Some of whom were only there in legend, but
Yeah,
and here it comes. I've got
that's
kids
very
that
good, thesis.
yeah, I've got kids that are they're not biologically mine, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm their daddy, if not their father, which is a fine Southern tradition.
Right.
Uh,
Well, the cousin who ran it before I did was a stepson. Um, my uncle never adopted him, but when Charlie was due to go into the army, he went to him and said, "I want to go in as Charlie Baker." And my uncle Ernie says, Okay, took him down to the courthouse and had his name changed. Didn't adopt him, but had his name changed. Which I guess he figured about that since he was 18, he didn't need to be adopted anyway. And then it came to me, and I always wondered why WC and Pearl never seemed to like me. And then WC died, and in the will it said that his property and everything would just go to those of his body and of his blood. And I'm like, oh, that's why. And that's when I started calling them by their first names instead of grandma and grandpa, because if I wasn't their granddaughter, then
Yeah.
They weren't your grandparents. Yeah.
And I had a one cousin who objected to it once, and I'm like, look, I'm honoring his last wishes as far as I'm concerned. Since he wrote me out of the family, I'm just doing what he wanted to do. And when that will came out, they not only Pearl not only lost me as a granddaughter, she lost my two brothers because I'm the apple of their eye. You know, they're the reasons I got so spoiled. It wasn't my mom. It was my two older brothers that spoiled me rotten growing up. And they went to her and they said, well, you can't believe this too. And she says, well, that's why it's in the will. And they said, oh, never went back to see her again.
Mm.
And you only got yourself to blame when you do something stupid like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish there was a gentler way to say that, but no, that's the most accurate way to say that.
Yeah. Because I would have been the best granddaughter they could have had it if they had wanted me. But on the better things. But it was a fun day today. McFerrin Park, though, did get a bad review on Google Maps.
Really?
The 6th of July. Technically still part of the holiday weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The public restrooms were locked. They had one porta potty, and it was not accessible. We had 6 elderly people in with aids to. I mean, one aunt had one of those was in one of those little go-karts. Another was in a wheelchair. It's a good thing they didn't need to use that.
Mm-hmm.
I had enough trouble, but yeah, they got a bad review on Google Maps.
Well, sounds like they deserved it.
Hmm.
Uh,
I guess there were restrooms over by the pool, but that was a quarter of a mile across the park.
yeah.
See, the ones at Twin Oaks are always locked unless we're holding an event or someone rents the park. Mainly because, A, we don't have staff outside of the 4 board members.
Mm-hmm.
And also we don't trust the youth of our town to not just totally destroy it.
Morning, Mike Jimmy.
Hey, Mike Jimmy.
And Thesis, we're not ignoring you. It's just
Mm.
that would have fit in so much better on Stupid O'Clock than it does right now. We have yet to descend into the mouth of madness that we have the potential to get to.
Well, McFerrin Park's a very good-sized park, and they do have a lot of people to take care of it. And I mean, we weren't the only shelter that had been rented. There was at least one other closer to the restrooms. And they had we had 39 people there, I think it was. And the other shelter was just as full as ours was. So, I'm thinking, and this is the first year it's ever been locked.
Mhm.
So it's like, that was kind of unnecessary, I think, especially since they didn't have the accessible porta potty.
Yeah.
And only one for all those people, because when you rent, you have to put down your estimate of how many people you think are going to be there.
Yeah, the park that we usually have uh, family reunions for my mom's side of the family. Sadly, it's there's of the original generation. There's only my mom and one of her brothers left, and um two aunts that were spouses,
Hmm.
and a lot of the kids, and I do mean much younger than me, are not as enthusiastic about spending a time with the family. I've got older cousins that do, but the I don't want to say youngest generation, sort of a middle generation.
Hmm.
They just it's not their cup of tea, which is sad because it means that this gigantic huge family that I grew up in is just gradually fading away.
Yeah. That,
That is a great loss to all of them.
oh, I tried to get my niece to go, and she says, "Well, I don't know any of those people." And I'm like, "It's because you don't go. This is the family that you only see once a year."
Hmm.
And I mean, especially when I was a kid, I I waited for that time so I could see some of those cousins that I
Hmm.
only saw once a year.
Yep. Uh, when we lived in that area, it was every weekend.
Hmm.
And then we moved to Georgia, and it became a 4 hour, 5 hour drive for the whole family to go, and it was still a huge family.
Hmm.
Time passes, and unfortunately, so do family members,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it gets there's there's less and less of that family connection because everybody is spread so far apart.
Hmm.
It's, uh, you have to go where the jobs are, where the places you want to live are, where you're comfortable. Some folks like um, states a little further away. It's not all economic. Sometimes it's just, oh, I'm trying to get away from the pine tree pollen so my sinuses don't kill me every spring. Um, a couple of good friends of mine that lived in Atlanta are now in Seattle to
Hmm.
escape the uh, Georgia pine tree pollen so they
Hmm.
can breathe easily.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I remember a time when it was 6 or 7 picnic tables filled with food,
mm.
and it was only 3 today.
Yeah, there was a time when I thought, are we renting out a football stadium or something? Because there's like 50 cars in this park, and it's all us.
Hmm.
And each car will be full of people. At least two, maybe three generations of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, WC and Pearl had 9 kids. There's only 3 left. And aunts and uncles each had. I think the smallest family was aunt and uncle only had 2 kids. The others had 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now it's who's that? Well, that's so and so's grandchild. Oh, and they're as tall as you are and in their 40s.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mom's family had, let's see, she had 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and each one of them had a full family of no less than 2 adults and 2 children.
Mhm.
Usually, it was adults and 5 or 6 children.
Mhm.
That was that was part of being Appalachian and surviving the Depression
Mm-hmm.
and surviving World War II and surviving uh, being descended from Kentucky coal miners and just huge families
And
for
the
one.
generations blended
Yeah.
because my aunt Ruth and my brother Dale were born the same year. My brother David was born 2 years later, and then my father's youngest brother Wayne was born the year after David. Mom's like, yeah, it was a lot of fun being pregnant at the same time your mother-in-law's pregnant.
Hey,
Ah, here's the star
Lindsay.
of the show.
Hello, Aurora. Oh, you are
And hi,
so
Mike.
pretty.
Good morning.
Her hair is even prettier than Dawn's. Oh, don't tell Dawn I said that. Um,
Nah,
Oh,
she just came out of the
I'm
shower, so it's a little fuzzy.
just like Daddy's hair.
Yeah, well, okay, I came out of the shower too, but because I had to take care of a baby, I didn't actually get clean
Mm.
because Luz is still asleep. And
oh,
I woke up to a sleeping bag that was entirely brown where it should be cream. So that was my morning.
Yeah,
yeah, kind of
yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah.
And you know what? I don't care. It's a baby. It's what happened.
Mhm.
Really? I mean, seriously, if you're not gonna accept diaper duty, you really shouldn't have touched your wife to start with. Uh,
If you're not going to accept diaper duty, you do what I did and marry one who had a 5-year-old.
Oh,
oh,
So
I think
last
I
week,
think we found a vocalist for the soundtrack album.
earlier this week, we went to a secondhand store that Luz and I never went to before because we didn't even know it existed. And um, like Luz went through the toy section, and somewhere Aurora picked up this thing and has not let go ever since. Yeah,
It's because it's an abacus. She's learning math. Leave her alone.
1, 2, 3.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, you got to
Give
start
her.
off small.
Gotta start somewhere. Oh yeah,
yep.
yeah. You're a big girl, huh? Yeah. She's very talkative. God has not left us alone. But
It's all right.
adorable.
Yes, she is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
To sum up what I was saying before, I'm the perfect example of these huge multi-generational families going, yeah, it takes a village to raise an idiot. Um,
Yeah.
Although for some reason, most of them are proud of me.
I know what you mean. When there were still the three of us, I used to say, my mom only raised one fool, and he ain't me.
And which of your brothers got upset over that one?
Do you think I was stupid enough to say it in front of him?
Stupid? No. Sadistic? Maybe.
My reaction was, my wife only raised one fool, and it wasn't her.
All right. I'm gonna go to the kitchen, not necessarily down the hallway. I will be right back.
Thanks for the warning.
Hey,
Hey.
Aurora is in charge.
Uh-oh. Kings.
Baby at large.
That's actually probably the best move for this group. Let's be honest here.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
you're on the big screen.
Who are these strange peoples?
I'm standing up.
Yes.
Yeah, here
Oh,
growing.
yeah.
She's
You're
starting.
going to be into everything soon.
Oh yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah, this is true, Bladed. This is very true.
Dan is easily derailed by the appearance of a female, especially one with red hair.
Yeah.
I think this is the most vocal she's been on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's like the last week. She just started talking way more.
Nice.
And yeah, like she's just. This is her learning to talk, and it's just one of the things. Like, yeah, I learned how to sit now, so now I'm gonna learn how to talk. You know, and starting to crawl. It's still backwards mostly, but
Okay, so she figured out where reverse is. As long as she figures out neutral, drive, and park, we're good.
well, the park part is a little weird because then she'll be at on all fours and be like, I don't know what to do.
Welcome back, Rick.
Sorry, I had to extract a berry from underneath the bed.
Fireworks.
No, he just like so. There's a channel under the bed that he could get into and basically have a little kitty cave, if you will. The only thing is, Misty doesn't like him in the bedroom because his uncle, when we still had him, used to spray.
Mm-hmm.
So since then she's been very leery about cats in the bedroom because that's not a scent you want to try to sleep to.
No.
Yeah.
So I had to remind them that the way to get him out is for the sounds of his treats not to be shaken in the box to hit his dish, because then he knows he's actually getting them. He's smart.
Yeah.
He's like,
And
you
that-
can shake that thing all day. Doesn't mean I'm getting one. It's in the dish. I'm coming. I'm coming before you put it back.
Yep.
So,
That's how we ended up with Himoni. April's husband will not abide a male cat in the house because of the male cat his parents had when he was a child that sprayed all the time. I've never had a problem with any male cat I've ever had.
Well, if they get like spayed quickly enough, it's no problem.
we
Yeah.
only had a problem with Cookie when he was mad at us.
That makes sense.
Kisa had an issue. Priest didn't. Priest wasn't fixed, obviously, because if he was fixed, Barry wouldn't have happened. But yeah, it's all Kisa's fault.
Mm.
Kisa would do it because he's bored.
No.
We have one that is borderline feral. I mean, he'll let Lindsay get close to him, but if I walk out on the porch, he runs for the woods. And we got another one that is just the absolute most epitome of a snuggle kitty that you've ever seen. And he just adores me, but he really loves Lindsay. And they are, now that they're older and they are both getting fed regularly, they look like twins. Although the snuggle kitty is probably the uncle of the one that's mostly feral.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I walked in the living room and I'm going, why is Billy running for me all of a sudden? And then the penny drops and I go, oh, that's Agate, that's not Billy. Billy No Mates is just the oh, I absolutely adore him when he doesn't knock the food container out of my hand and spill it all on the floor.
Yeah, Strips and Himoni are pretty much twins, and we kind of wonder. We know Kiddo had 3 kittens last year, and one of them disappeared, and we're wondering if somebody picked up Himoni. And that's how April ended up with him. But fortunately, April put a collar on him early, so he's still wearing a collar in order to tell them apart. And then there's also the fact that Strips weighs maybe 6 pounds, and Himoni weighs probably about 14 now. And
That's a healthy boy.
And he's got another year to grow. Yeah, he's going to be like our Blue Boy was. And it's not fat, it's all muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the little mini Panthers are easy to tell apart because my beloved little Charcoal is kind of stout and fluffy, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
And little BB is very long and skinny, and has her head reminds me of a Siamese, her head and ears.
So basically, cat weasel.
Mm-hmm. And she has golden eyes where Charcoals are green. But she's gotten over her little vacation outside. And she's she's not exactly snuggly now, but if you put your hand down, she'll come to you and say, oh yeah, I want petted. Where before, it was, okay, you can pet me, and yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
I've only had one feral one in the house. She's currently asleep in the bed. Thank God she doesn't watch the reruns.
I'll have to send her the link.
Yeah, but
we'll tell on you.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we don't have to. She just rolled over and yawned for no reason that she can discern right now. But
yeah. There's a disturbance in the force. He said something about me.
Joe likes to live dangerously. Not as dangerously as Joe Dog, but
Oh no, I know my limits.
Really?
You'd think by now Joe Dog would, but
hell, they both enjoy it.
Oh
They don't want to admit it.
no, Chris is right. That dog won't hunt. I mean, seriously. Uh,
I mean, there's times where she gets a little more annoyed than others, but for the most part, they both like it because they're just constantly picking at each other.
There we go.
She is adorable, Mike Jimmy.
oh yeah.
She is wonderful.
Y'all did good.
of course she is. Look at who her parents are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't. I still can't believe something so pretty came out of Luz and I.
Oh, I
Well, I
can.
mean, I've seen a photo of Luz. I can believe it, but
Yeah. And Mike Jimmy, your artwork is beautiful.
Well, I try. Speaking of which, I got to get some work done.
I mean, the world of Korra is something to behold.
It is, yes.
oh Lord, could my serials editor just posted about where he thinks the
Nice.
garbage code in his recent links for the stories is coming in, and he's using Microsoft Word's HTML converter. And I'm just sitting here going, we give you a link to a free HTML coding program
Oh, God.
and you use Word. No, I mean, it's fine for spell
Nothing.
check and the occasional grammar check, but you got to be really picky about accepting its advice. But copy it. Go to clean HTML, paste it in. You get no garbage code, and then go to Composer, copy paste, boom. No garbage. No garbage at all. I mean,
I did have a chance to speak with one of my little cousins today and encourage her. He is seriously thinking about being an artist professionally.
Cool.
And her mom showed me some of her work, and I told her she needs to. I want to find some links. I said, I'm connected. I know some great artists that would probably give you some good advice. But she is every bit as good as Jaden Lanning. And I was talking about this on Jody McPhee's show. They were giving me some advice too. Baker family seriously blue collar. And we creatives are not well understood by them.
That is true.
Well, in fact, when I got my white collar job of being a secretary bookkeeper, there were a few that went, "Oh, is this until you get a real job?" This is a real job, yeah. My dad could not understand how I could sit behind a desk all day and come home and be tired. Like, it's not just all sitting behind the desk. I got to go out and talk to clerks. I got to talk to people. We didn't have the internet back then. It was, I had to decide who to let have credit. And
I have to put up with people. It's exhausting.
Exactly.
Very.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull up that chat.
So Donna, what kind of work would she want as an artist? 'Cause, like, let's start there.
Um, that's part of what we need to discover.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I saw, she would do very well as a comic artist, but also also saw some things that would be work great as like tattoos, that sort of thing. Um, she's 16. She's just exploring right now,
That's cool.
and it. I'm glad that her mom and dad are saying, okay, you can go for that if you want to do it. I'm surprised as hell because like I say, the family, but I'm happy that they are being so supportive, but they don't know how to help her other than being supportive. I'm like, I've got connections. We can work this out. We can find out what you want to do and what direction you want to go in.
Well, I'd definitely tell her to start a DeviantArt page if she hasn't already.
DeviantArt, ArtStation, Instagram. Yeah, all over the place, really.
Mhm.
I also told her if she's interested in selling some of her work, that she needed to be a part of indiecd.org.
Confirmed.
So you said she's 16?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Okay.
know it's going to be a couple years, but
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah,
yeah,
I'm only allowing 18 and over on there, but definitely
no,
once she's of age.
yeah. I figure in the next couple of years she'll have a better idea of what she wants to do and where she wants to go, and then she needs to be on it.
Yep. And it'd still be a good place for her to go and look at a bunch of the other artists.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
Look at other artists. Look what they're doing. And don't look at small artists. As mean as it may sound, look for the guys that actually made it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be like, you gotta work. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, you're gonna work. And I'm sorry to say it, but like when you're 16-ish, you
That's
don't
what
want
you
to
need
hear
to
that.
hear. Well, but that's what you need to hear.
Exactly. Like if you don't want to put in the work, you're not gonna get there. And like I'm personally feeling it. I'm not putting in that kind of work, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at that point. Um, and that's fine because I've always wanted to just not have the stress of having to continually look for work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's plenty of work in art. There's plenty of money in art. Hell, there's more money in art now than there ever was before.
Mhm.
Um, the thing is reaching your clients, and that is, well, there's a million artists in the world, and there are 7 billion people that don't necessarily want your art, until you tell them that they want your art. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's an uphill battle right up until you reach the top.
And then it's a battle to stay at the top.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And as the AC/DC song goes, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I just looked at the message traffic from the Aphelion staff, and the long fiction editor did not download the clean copy of everything that I had working between the story file and the link to the story on the long fiction link page. and replaced everything that I fixed with shit that's still got garbage code in it.
Hello, Nicholas.
Oh
Hey, Nick.
no, Nick's here. Is it?
Hello, Nick.
The show just got more interesting.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And I'm getting too damn sleepy to stick around much longer.
I'm tempted to just go, dude, leave the shit alone when I fix it, and just download a fresh copy without the garbage. And yes, he's going through like 4 extra steps.
And hello, Thesis.
Oh God, he's used to working on a Mac, but he's got a PC now.
It's different.
He's using like
There's this
so
thing
many
called Open
unnecessary.
Office.
I know. I can translate OpenOffice to actual HTML.
I love OpenOffice.
I love it too, but my God, I had it fixed. You went and re-uploaded your. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it till tomorrow night, and I'll fix it just before I upload everything.
Yeah.
If it still needs to be fixed, or actually, I'll just take the versions that I already have fixed and replace whatever he did. If you're doing web pages and it's just Bobby Basic web pages, it's not anything fancy. I mean, Joe Bachman is an artist with web pages.
Hey, Josh.
He actually knows the code.
Josh.
I've only been using HTML since 1995, so I'm no expert. But
Hey, Gary.
Oh,
In case y'all are wondering, Kiri and Josh are one and the same.
no, they're not. Kiri and Josh are not one and the same. That would be disturbing.
Oh, we got Nick and we got Kiri in the chat.
And Thesis was there for a little while, but
He's still there.
Okay, good.
But he's not. He hasn't been as spicy tonight as Nick and Kiri have.
Sorry, I got distracted doing Aphelion stuff. I mean,
it's your show. Pay attention, boy.
I got responsibilities. I got kids to raise. Apparently, one of them I'm not doing a good job with.
Uh-oh.
Well, as much as I would love to stick around, I'm going to have to call it a night because my eyes are closing despite my attempts to keep them open.
I was
Get some rest, dude.
I was that way about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and evidently I took a long nap. I didn't know until I woke up and saw I was in the middle of a IRC chat, and I hadn't said anything for about 5 hours. So.
Well, I hope all of y'all, when you do go to sleep, rest well and sleep well. And until next time, y'all take care of yourselves and go good, guys.
Night, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. You have a good night.
Bye.
Should we ask Kiri? Kiri, Zach, and Joe Dog in a call together. The mind boggles.
Mind
wanders.
Excuse me,
Big
Cthulhu
screen.
just sent me a text message going, "Help! I'm scared." Um,
Who did?
Cthulhu. Um,
Yeah.
Hey, we just heard what Aurora thinks of the situation, so I'm actually inclined to agree with her.
really? No, no,
You scream
Eldritch
on the top of
horror,
your lungs and you
no!
hope for the best.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Now I've got about 3 projects I need to finish up here before Mike Jimmy can finish with Life on Korra, and I need to get serious about writing a soundtrack. Because I do not want to turn in less than my absolute best work.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not at a point where a soundtrack would, like, if you want to do the entire thing, I don't have it paced out properly yet. So,
I know, and I
yeah,
can't. I mean, I don't know time limits for scenes. So, I mean, you're gonna re-edit everything so it's paced out the way it feels right for you, and then I can go, okay, click, hang on to your hats, world. Here I come. Uh,
I
but
gotta put them on
you
to
know,
bed. Sorry.
if I jump the gun and try and do it earlier, it's not going to fit the um, the scene
Well,
pacing and everything. Uh, this I know already, and I'm be the first. Well, no, it'd be the second soundtrack I've ever written. The first one I'd never finished the play it was supposed to go with, but I got the music. Um, oh, what's going on in private chat? Uh,
I'm wondering what's going on with Joe because his eyes are just bouncing all over the place.
Oh, I'm playing solitaire.
I only do that when I'm watching the shows. Yes,
Oh,
Slurp.
yeah, you can see my eyes pretty well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Normally, I look more like an evil anime character when I'm staring kind of straight on at the screens like this.
You weren't exactly staring. Your eyes were going. Doo, 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 doo.
okay, I went dad mode on the staff.
threaten to turn everything around if they don't settle down.
No, I just said basically we have the free, no garbage HTML composing program for a fucking reason, and it's free, and it's intuitive, and it's got a great spell check. So use it. Quit using Word. Oh my God. I mean, Word's a great word processor, but it's extremely finicky. Try moving an image, an illustration in a Word document by a 16th of an inch in any direction, and all of a sudden you got 52 extra pages that don't have anything on them, and your text is no longer aligned with the image that it was aligned with before you decided to try and move it.
I feel your pain. The other trainers don't like publisher for doing our quick reference cards. So the new manager has given us a new template in Word that will allegedly address my issues with why I don't like doing the quick reference cards in Word, which is exactly that reason. You got an image, you try to get it to do exactly what you need it to do, and
Uh-huh.
suddenly things are all over the place. And they're like, well, it affects too much and blah blah blah, and you have to do everything in text boxes. I'm like, everything's in one giant text box. There's no text boxes you have to worry about.
Yeah, really.
I developed the template that way for a reason. And this way, if you've got to change something, everything is already flowed and it.
I know, I know, I know. I've
Other
I've
than that,
I've written
she's a great manager.
I've written 3 different training manuals for the factory in Word, and images were anchored to specific paragraphs. And then you realize you needed one more sentence in that paragraph.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, you've got to re-anchor everything. Yeah, it's an incredibly finicky thing. When it works, it's wonderful. When it doesn't, it's annoying, to say the least.
They want to draw the boxes to call things out. Like if you say click here and you put the little red box around it, they want to
Uh-huh.
apply that box in Word and not group them, and then arrows and not group them to the image. So that should something happen and you have to change something or change that image, whatever, it's your arrows are not following, and then you've got to go ahead and if you've got 10 of those, you've got to drag every single freaking arrow back to the proper
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I haven't had a drink yet tonight, but
You're fixing to.
Starting to feel like one, yeah.
yep.
Believe me, HTML is so much simpler. You put everything in there and you go, okay, here it is. Left justified, right justified, center, uh, 5 pixel space all around it. Wrap this text here, wrap that text there. It's simple. I I can write it on a napkin with an ink pen, and it works.
These
Uh,
QRCs are hosted on our intranet, which is done in SharePoint. So I could actually do everything in HTML, and it would actually be better because it would flow to format because you can do the proper, if screen, blah, 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 all that
yeah,
happy shit. But no, we have to do it as a
in the
PDF,
company mandated format.
which you
Uh
could do it as an HTML, HTML site, and then just PDF that HTML. But
huh.
Mm-hmm.
But that
yeah,
violates protocol.
That would make sense.
Oh, sometimes protocol should be violated, or at least feel that way.
mm,
Oh, and
but
it,
I'm the nerd. They're the ones that actually went to school to be educators, and I just fell into it as a lateral from the help desk.
you just actually know your ass from a hole in the ground. That's what it is. That's the problem.
hmm
Oh, practical education versus textbook education. I think this is the dichotomy that is, shall we say, not enhancing our lives at the moment. Um, I really need a verbal sarcasm font there. Uh,
Yeah.
no, I, I, I can fix this, but I can't force them to use it. If they're gonna keep doing the same old thing in a way that doesn't oh my god, he's never downloaded the official HTML editor. He's only been doing this for 5 years. Um, it's free. It works. If any of my staff watches this, they're gonna go, "What the hell is he so upset about?" I mean, all he does is pay for the web space. I mean, he doesn't do anything. Uh, well, I wouldn't normally, but apparently I have to troubleshoot shit. Um, mm, I learned a long time ago. I never mess with the code for the forum section because that's beyond my pay grade. Uh, my web guru goes, this is kind of complicated. I'm going, I ain't touching it. Not no more. I've screwed it up too many times in the past when it was simple. Now that it's complicated, nope. But this, I mean, he starts out all right, but then he starts going into Notepad plus plus,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's missing Text Wrangler that he used when he had Mac, and he's using Word, and I'm going, there's a stumbling block right there. You do not put code in Word and then ask it to convert to HTML because Word throws garbage code left and right. It's just, it's built in. It looks great, but it doesn't work. It destroys the actual precision of the HTML code for the links. Good Lord, I sound like I actually know my ass from a hole in the ground.
The thing is, you probably do. Just don't realize it.
No, I mean, I know a lot about a few things, and those few things I know a real lot about. But, you know, in the general scheme of things, nowadays, unless it was a horribly, horribly simplistic website, such as mine, I wouldn't know what to do. Hell, I wouldn't know my way around how to work a style sheet if my life depended on it. I just go, oh, okay, that's the untouchable code. Here, let me put this in here about the text.
Yeah, I've never been able to learn CSS.
Yeah. Now, there was one time when I actually got really bold, and I downloaded an example code for something that was written in frames, and my web guru goes, "No, frames, evil, don't touch, don't use," and I'm going, "You're absolutely right. This is stupid shit." It was fashionable for a while. Thankfully, it was a very short while, but it was all the rage. Hell, I can
It
even
was the
see.
goat sensation that was sweeping the nation.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can make sense out of C++ to do MIRC scripts, and that actually makes sense to me once you learn the grammar involved. But
That's all code.
yeah, it and I was going, yeah, well, I do all this Excel stuff, and um, I can make it work, and it does this and that, and when I find a problem, I Google a solution and watch like about 3 videos and read about 5 web pages of text on different things, and my web guru is going, congratulations, you're now an official programmer.
It's kind of like that though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, you can't do it? Google it. You'll figure it out.
Oh, if only folks knew how many chunks of my code were part of a copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
God
doing
bless
game
Stack
design. I know how it
Overflow.
works.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah. Well, the thing is to be bold enough to try and then be resolute enough to repair what didn't work because you tried something that the complete code was not there because, oh, we don't want you to just be able to copy and paste.
I
I'm
gotta
going,
stay for my wife, I think. BRB.
You
All right.
you forgot
Okay.
the humble enough to realize you fucked it up too.
well, yeah, but the thing is to realize that what you copied and pasted, somebody in a teaching situation left out part of the information. It's like, oh, this is proprietary. You can't have that. Well, why did you show the other? Mm, why did you show the other part to me? Um, you made it look easy, and then you hid half of the code.
Well, in a teaching environment, you would do that just to make your learner use critical thinking to figure out the missing pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
No, as a student, I went to somebody else's Google search and go, wait a minute, show me the one that actually works. Then I look at it and I compare it to what I had, and I go, oh, there's 15 steps that they left out of this one. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Now it works. Um, at work, I was writing stuff for people that um, basically um, counting to 22, they had to take their shoes off and use their ears. Hell, most of us got hired because we could count to 4 several times in a row and stop at the right number, 16, 24, 32. Yeah. Um, we were just there because we were willing to sweat and had the ability to count to not huge numbers. Um, and here I wound up writing stuff for engineers to go, holy shit, how did you get it to do that chart? I go, Google. Uh, there was one. There was one where it's a complete database, and it's got things where you, you could get a monthly chart, and it's all graphs, and you you could get a daily graph, and you could get a yearly graph, and I'm going once you once you Google the code, you can just change the date parameters to where it goes from here to here and put it on different tabs. And if one of you wanted this and another one wanted that, I can hit print and it'll all go to your mailbox. In the printer.
One of these days, I need to have my buddy John actually sit down and look at the code that I did for my concrete apps.
You're doing the weights and the what cubic yardage and
yeah, the yield and the math part I know is as good as it's going to get.
Yeah,
because you got to calculate each field out.
Do you have to include reinforcement? I mean, rebar and
No.
wire and whatnot.
Nope. No, we base our like the actual flexural strength is based off of a sample that has no bar in it.
Oh wow!
We make a it's a 6 by 6 by 6 rectangular block essentially. That or not 6 by 6 by 6. It's 6 deep, 6 wide, 18 long. That's what I'm thinking of. But it's you have to hit 550 psi on that to open it to traffic. So
and that's without using the sample uses no reinforcement whatsoever.
Right.
So it's the weakest sample possible.
Yep.
And what you build actually has the reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better than the example sample.
Yeah. Yeah, their basic running theory is if that passes, then you know the shit that actually has reinforcement in it's gonna be good. In theory.
Well, that's sensible.
It makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, the part of the code I want him to actually look at is the so like for the yield or any of them really, I go through and I made it to where you could email the results to yourself. Because I've still yet to actually sit down and figure out how to make it have its own little internal database to be able to save to the device for later viewing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little above my brain, above what my brain will allow me to try and absorb.
Depending on what program you're trying to save it in, it could be either fairly simple or hellishly complicated.
Well, this would be for both Android and iOS. So it's going to be two totally separate sets of code.
Yeah, okay. Ain't touching it with a 50-foot barge.
But the way I have it set up right now, when you go to email it to yourself, if you look at the code, it's basically telling it, grab, here's the name of a variable. This variable is going to grab this bit of information, here's that same name but with a number after it that's going to grab this bit of information, and which is basically like the text, the label of whatever that piece of information that you either input or was calculated. And it's almost easier just to actually pull up the code and show. But like, I want to say just the email portion of it was about, I don't know, 60 lines of code, 70 lines of code, because I was using a variable for every single little thing.
Sometimes you
and then
have
was
to.
confusing the unholy shit out of myself with what I was naming stuff.
Sometimes you have to, though. And then once the penny drops, you figure out what lines of code you really didn't need, but they were there for insurance to make sure it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Mike Jimmy, I have got to pay you a very high compliment. You know what the most lusted after canal boats in England are?
Dutch ones, probably.
Dutch barges.
Schouten, yeah.
They're huge. They can cross the ocean. And they're just incredibly versatile. And I'm looking at the design of some of these things, and I'm going, wait a minute. I know what that funky little wing thing is. That's a Thor Hydro proves that those are necessary. That's like a rudder you can pull out of the water because flat bottom boats don't have keels. It's like an artificial keel, and it's like holy shit! This is a great design.
Flat bottom keels, you make the floating world go round. Sorry.
No. Yeah.
I mean, thanks to my fascination with British canal boats, I'm just going, holy shit, give me a drafting program. I can design some stuff for this. They would never build it because, hey, it wasn't designed in the 1800s, so it's not traditional. And I'm going, I don't give a damn about traditional. There's no reason for you to have to stand at the back of a 70-foot boat when you can put the cockpit in the middle where you can see both ends. There's no reason for you to be dodging from side to side when you could put cameras all over the damn thing and use a computer screen.
Shaw.
I mean, seriously, there's no reason why you got to have one big old headlight for a tunnel that points up to keep from being in everybody's eyes when you could put car headlights on the damn thing at the water level, as well as the one that points off to the side to be traditional. There's no reason why you've got to stand at the back and actually move the rudder yourself when you can have a wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Tradition can hold people back from.
As Terry Pratchett once said, tradition is peer pressure from dead people.
Yeah.
Yes, Terry is absolutely right. I miss him. I miss him so badly.
Yeah, I need more Discworld books in my life, honestly.
Well, he had some stuff he hadn't finished, and he put it in his will that it was to be run over by a steamroller. Pretty much that hard drive had to be destroyed so Nobody could pastiche his work from his original notes. If they were going to pastiche his work, they were going to have to read everything and do it the hard way.
Yeah, and I honestly am all for it.
As much as I would love undiscovered Discworld stuff, I'm glad it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
If
no,
if
like
if somebody does the research and somehow manages to mimic his writer's voice effectively, I'd be all for it. I mean, I'd jump on it. But yeah, it wouldn't be the same. But you,
um,
I mean, inspired by Terry Pratchett on the cover is good enough, not from an unfinished manuscript by Terry Pratchett,
so
which
the
is what he did not want.
no, but the thing is, a lot of his especially his last couple of books, were
Hmm.
essentially written by his editors.
Yeah.
And they had such an intrinsic insight into his writing and his creative mind that they could essentially recreate that writing style because they essentially wrote it. He just had last say, and I absolutely respect them going, no, this is not for us, because can't have last say anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wasn't it his daughter that was executor of the will, and she was one of the best editors that he had there
Yeah,
towards the end. Um, I mean, she grew up with him and had obviously read every word he'd ever written, so she had the style down. It's like when I was doing the Sherlock Holmes story for the Spaceport Bar book. I read every Conan Doyle and every pastiche I could get my hands on. And then I had to decide which voices to use for the characters. And I decided on the Jeremy Brett rendition of Sherlock Holmes. And unfortunately, not the, oh God, who was uh, um, the one from the '60s movies, the played Doctor Watson, the comedy relief. I did not use the comedy relief Watson.
Mm.
I used a combination of the two actors from the Jeremy Brett Holmes series that played Watson, and a couple of others. Uh, the radio serial Watsons were not comedy relief. Uh, uh, Nigel Bruce, was that his name? I can't remember the actor.
It's one of them, yes.
Okay, yeah. He was one that was working with. Oh crap! Now I can't remember
Basil
the
Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone. Yes. Uh, Unfortunately, the studios decided that Nigel Bruce was going to be comedy relief, and Watson was never comedy relief. He was
Mm.
right there, um, an equal partner, basically.
He was
And
the exposition. Yeah.
yeah, he had to be right on up there, even though he couldn't make the intuitive leaps that Holmes was making. he had to be capable of a whole lot more
Mm-hmm.
than comedy relief. He had to be capable of independent, intuitive leaps and respectable amount of uh, not only exposition and uh, audience point of view, but not look like a fool, which they made Nigel Bruce look like a
Mm-hmm.
fool. I did
And
not like that.
no, and Holmes would never have suffered a fool to be that close to him.
No, no. Uh,
No, because that would just keep you back. Like as
and it would be given the number of threats against Holmes's life, that would definitely be
yeah.
a severe security risk. I don't know how the hell we got on this one, but that was a nice thread there for a second or two.
That was nice. Yeah. No, just creative talk.
Hmm.
It happens once in a while.
Hey, my mind is one of those things where uh, half the time I know what I'm thinking, the other half I'm extremely surprised at what my mouth says. Uh,
You know what you're thinking, huh? Tell me how that feels.
Oh man.
well, I mean, Mike, Jimmy, it's the same way with you. You know when the color matches exactly what you want. You know when the motions you are trying to animate actually flow the way you want them to. And
Well,
you sit there and you work out the lip syncing and everything else. And once you begin that, it becomes almost second nature. You know what you're trying to achieve. You have certain patterns that you can call back to in case you're doing something that is repetitive of those other patterns you've already worked out. But you're not afraid to go, oh, this is different. I got to make a new pattern.
so there's a funny thing about that, and that's something that a um, thrift reseller that Luz and I follow. Well, Luz mainly. I'm not so much, but she finds cool stuff, and I like that. On YouTube, and she's like, I do art deco,
Mhm.
and I have aphantasia, like I do. She's like, I find myself um, not being held back from what is in my mind's eye versus what I'm putting down on the table, to show you guys, because I don't know what it's going to look like until I did it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I find myself having that same kind of mindset with a lot of things that I do because I don't know how things are going to look until it's down on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I have the experience to make it look pretty decently, um, but it also means that because I don't have to worry about it having to look the same as it is in my head, because there's nothing up here. Um, Occasionally there is, but it comes out in words and not so much in visuals. Um, it's a lot easier for me to just go in and get it done. And it's
Yeah.
the same for her. Like she will decorate a complete room and be like, okay, this works with that, but I don't know how it's actually going to be until it's there. And like honestly, the banner that I'm working on right now as well, And I can actually show you guys because that's what I've been doing for. Let's see. There we go. That's what I did for Hung Animation last week as well. Like, I had no idea how I was going to compose all this. Because, like,
That is beautiful.
Yeah, no, this is going to be the new convention banner for Love and Korra.
Nice.
I stand by my previous statement. It's beautiful.
Yep.
I'm having fun, and I'm getting new characters in. Like, I get Fru over here in her actual color instead of black and white, making Luz happy.
That always counts for something.
So I'm nearly done shading, and then I gotta put the background in and everything. So I'm gonna be here for a couple more hours. But yeah, like I had no idea what this was going to look like until I started. And I start with the easy characters, like I've drawn Grund and Otzi like a million times because they are the most easy for my audience. They are the characters that they usually
Most identifiable.
first. They're the most interesting visually. And third, there's Calais from issue 4. Yeah, and of course we got the new one, which is very bright. So I want those guys up there because I found with the old banner, and I can show that one too. Let me see. There we go. That people were interested. Like, what the hell is that? But they didn't see the characters. And so, unless they already knew the IP, they were like, what am I looking at, right? So I had to put the banner on my table for it to actually show what it had. And I want to avoid that, so we're going to do this.
Yeah.
There we go. But yeah, like it's there's no visuals up here, so everything has to be done like physically before I actually understand what it's going to be.
I find myself when I'm occasionally I will build a piece of furniture out of wood, and I find myself heavily influenced by things that I learned about in college in art classes. It's all 1700s, very opulent sort of thing. It's not so much woodworking as it is the decoration of the woodworking.
Yeah.
And there's a complete palette of colors. There's one, basically it's one very striking solid color, and then two different tones of something pastel built off of that as contrast. And then you've got to figure out, where does this go on the trim work to set off the mahogany tones of the stain finish that you're using? Because it was all dark. Now, if you were using something light like pecan or pine or something like that, that was just a whole lot lighter, you'd have to use a whole different palette. But with this, you've got the dark wood is there. You've already stained it. It's already dried and everything, you have to decide which pattern of trim that you're going to put around the edges, and then you have to decide how does this fit with the color palette of the house. Like if you got hunter green curtains and blinds and things, you're not going to want to use robin's egg blue anywhere because it's going to be a glaring contrast to the
Yeah.
greens. And then you just sometimes you spend hours mixing paint just to do a stripe along the outside of the back of a chair or a bench, basically. Sort of like a teeny tiny church pew. All the scroll work and everything is there, but you're trying to highlight and make it match the room. And I'm sounding really pretentious right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I get really involved when I'm doing furniture.
No, pretentious would be adding value by just talking about it. This is not pretentious. This is you deep diving into a subject because you enjoy it.
Well,
You're not making a canvas with a Sharpie and doing 600 layers of black because it reflects the 600 layers of the soul. No, that's pretentious. That's bloody high art. No, we're talking you enjoying something and wanting to put the best out there that you personally can and how you experience those things. That is not pretentious.
well, it's and I'm never doing it to sell. I'm always doing it for my own house. So I'm the one that has to be happy with it. It's not like it's ever going to wind up in a bloody museum or anything.
Well,
Hey,
if it lasts long
there,
enough.
there's Rob trying to bring me back to sanity.
We don't need no sanity around here.
Thank you, Mr. Sterling.
Please tell me what sanity feels like.
Has there
I
ever been
wouldn't
sandy
know.
around here?
I've never experienced it in my life.
Not with
Like, back in my
creatives, no.
age, how? I've never been this old.
Never been this old either.
Hell, I used to drive around in circles on a tractor and compose music. Tell me that's sane.
We're creatives. We don't need to be sane.
No, that's scary.
Yeah.
Actually, there is printed evidence of what I can compose while riding around on a tractor in endless spirals. It's in the Spaceport Bar book. If you ever read the Redshift Sue story, I had to recreate that poem 5 different times in my life. My first wife kept tearing it up when she was mad at me. She would rip my manuscripts in half.
That would be my number one. That would be my first reason to leave. Bye.
Eventually, yes. It took me 5 years to get to the point to where I'm going, I'm not the problem. You're the problem. Bye. Have your lawyer contact my lawyer.
Rich is saying, Rob is saying, Rich is the voice of reason in the crew.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
If that is the case, we are so screwed.
No.
But it's a nice feeling.
I will say that nobody hears the comic relief. We
If you
saved
look at
that
my
for
hair
Joe
today,
Dog. What?
nobody's a comic reliever. Have you looked at my hair today?
Yes, I have.
I know it doesn't escape you at all.
Yeah, she's counted every lock and graded the color according
Yeah.
to a chart. Um, so wait, that was a pyramid scheme? No. uh, I'm laughing so hard I
No.
can't keep the mouse still. Uh,
Uh,
oh God, we've only got like 8 minutes left, folks.
Hmm.
Time flies when you're having fun. And this
For
was,
sure.
Well,
guys.
Joe Dog wondered how I was going to top this. I guess y'all helped me show him. Uh, although I probably talked entirely too much, but then again, that's what I do. And Rob, I saw the video yesterday night. Excellent job, my friend. Excellent job. I really enjoyed that. Uh, if you if y'all are watching this later, or if you've not watched Atomic Snack Bar videos, please do, because Rob does an excellent job, a very snarky, excellent job of. Hey, I don't think he would be ashamed of that.
oh no, he goes for snarky.
Oh yeah, and he does it so well. But he goes back. He does deep dives into different um, sci-fi and horror movies, but mostly sci-fi. They kind of blend over sometimes, but and he'll give you the history of what it was, who was working on it, uh, who the special effects people were, who the suit actor was for a monster. All these things that you really it without Rob you'd have to really do deep dives into movie history to be able to get this information. Richie, this is why I love you.
Oh, Lordy.
I mean, seriously, where are you going to run into that word if you're not reading that H.P. Lovecraft story? Uh,
Mine are more non-Euclidean geometric schemes.
oh, I keep waiting for somebody to actually do a live action at the Mountains of Madness that actually works. I mean, I've seen a couple that were animated, but mm, oh, yeah, Carl.
Oh,
Carl felt this week's was of particular interest to Lady Donna. Lots of Sean Connery and bikini action. Yeah.
yeah, he hasn't pointed that one out to me yet.
No, I mean, Zardoz was one of the movies that was covered in Friday night's video, and that was one of those films where you watch it and go, "What were they smoking when they wrote this?"
What were they drinking when they wrote this? Not thinking,
No,
drinking.
no, what were they drinking when they acted
After
this?
this,
Yeah, what were they smoking when they wrote this? Um,
Depends on the year. Could have been LSD.
Probably was.
no, it was what was it? 80s, 80s to 90s. No, 80s, early
Okay.
80s, I do believe. So a little bit
Absolutely.
too late for LSD, but just in time for cocaine.
hmm
Not that I would know.
He said the 70s.
1974.
1974.
Oh,
Oh my
definitely.
God.
That was a good year.
Yeah.
I am barely older than the movie.
I don't remember the 70s.
I do.
Oh, hush up, Joe. 74, I graduated high school. I was 17. It was a very good year. I was 17 and looked 25.
That'll do it.
It was the beginning of fun.
Trademark.
I was 17 and looked 12.
Misty might have been conceived just after the movie.
Well, let's hope it wasn't during.
I was about to say.
Might have been during. There's a possibility that-
Otherwise, you know,
shortly
somebody
after
had
the movie.
a Sean Connery fixation there.
No, actually,
I
believe
could totally see my mother-in-law being all over Sean Connery. Yeah.
it. Actually, believe it or not, in 1974, Aunt Donna was still a very shy person.
Aunt Donna is still a very shy person. You just
Yeah.
learn to hide it.
No, I started working my way through college as a waitress, and when you wait on construction workers and truckers and then start dating them, you lose your shyness very quickly.
I wish I'd lost my shyness very quickly. Believe it or not, I am still extraordinarily shy. But I have learned to socialize since then.
I'm not shy anymore. I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you. So
That is
I'll just
very
look the other way. It's almost time to say goodnight, Gracie.
Yes,
it
it
is.
is. I am very
boy.
sad about that, but we got 2.5 minutes left thereabouts. Let me go back to Brand here, and it's almost time for the bedtime story, which not many streaming shows use, and that's because they end before people should go to bed. It's only my show that goes, hey, we're up late, so you're going to have nightmares for the rest of your life.
That's why in my end credits I pay a homage to the bedtime story.
There's that word again.
Yeah. Hope it's not an insult.
I don't care if it is. I love it.
Oh.
Oh, Lord. Now I've got to do like 3 more albums, so Joe's got more music to use on his show. I'm sure he's getting tired of the ones he's been using.
No, 'cause
Nope.
I go through and, well, the names just kind of fit the mood half the time.
Hey, one of these days I'll figure out how I come up with those names, and I'll give you the secret. Most of the time they're either puns or literary references or combinations of puns.
Peyote and one part.
No.
I mean, hold my beer and watch this kind of sums up most of my streams. So.
And that's the one that ends in a car crash.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah. And how do most of my streams then?
Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and people that will be watching this on the repeat, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your presence, everybody here. Thank you very much indeed for gracing me with your attention and your presence. Um, it's been a great conversation, and we will have to do this again next week ad infinitum ad nauseum. Um, so let's see here. It's time. So thank
Good
you,
night,
folks.
Greasy.
Good night.
Good night,
And
Rose.
God bless you, Mrs. McGillicuddy, wherever you are. I'll learn how to talk eventually. It's not like I do it for a living. Uh, I can't click the mouse and won't hold still.
God
Don't
bless
be.
Mr. McGillicuddy and all the ships at sea.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good
At
night.
least.
night.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. 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 System will shut down.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?